What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Educated Barfly. Today we're going to do a home bar basics episode on egg whites in cocktails. I have learned a lot about this in the last few years. I have been busted on this channel a couple of times for simple assumptions that I made, so I just want to clear the air and I want to tell you guys about everything that you're going to need to know before you use egg whites in a cocktail. The reason why you do egg whites in a cocktail is because you want to do something like this, where you create a hand-whipped foam. It creates a wonderful texture for your drink, and it is great. The egg white drinks are some of my favorites. Here's what you need to know about it. First of all, using egg whites in your drink are not going to make them slimy or eggy in any way. A freshly cracked egg white should actually be completely odorless. I've heard a couple of people on this channel say, oh, I don't like the smell of it, and I've seen bars crack eggs and put them in squeeze bottles and use their egg whites out of squeeze bottles. And I've always kind of shuddered at that because A, you definitely heighten the risk of foodborne illness doing that. And then B, egg whites get a kind of a weird smell to them after they have been cracked for about 15 minutes. So what you really want to do is an in-shell egg. You don't also then want to use egg beaters in any way because those are terrible. What you do is if you have access to a fresh egg, that beats hands down anything. That is the best thing to use, a fresh egg. If you can't use a fresh egg, then a pasteurized in-shell egg like this is your other best option for cracking eggs. A couple of things you need to know is that depending on the proof of the cocktail that you use, the alcohol will not kill salmonella on contact. So if there is a salmonella compromised egg, okay, you will not kill it with the booze. The booze will take several weeks to actually kill the bacteria. It will eventually kill all the bacteria in the egg white, but it will take several weeks to do it. There are actually a few, I think it might have even been Dave Arnold who did a test where they made eggnog, and they let some eggnog sit for 6 weeks, and they made a freshly made eggnog, and they tested the bacteria content in both. And the one that was sitting for 6 weeks won because the alcohol had enough time to kill all the bacteria, so it like sterilized the eggnog. If I find a link to that, I will put it in the notes. I'm not really sure if I will be able to find a link, and I can't remember where I read it, but it kind of just goes to the point that alcohol will eventually kill salmonella and other bacteria, but not on contact. So you do run a little risk. That being said, we here in the United States, and most of the people who are watching this are watching from countries that are developed. And I don't want to say that salmonella has been eradicated, but it is very, very, very rare. In the 10 years that I have been making cocktails, I have made, probably 30 egg white drinks, every shift for the last 10 years, maybe a little less than that. I've never seen anyone ever get sick. So just keep that in mind. But if you do feel kind of weird about eating egg whites, or you have a compromised immune system or something, and you just feel like you don't want to put egg whites in your drink, a good vegan alternative to egg whites is agua faba. I don't know if you've seen that term around, but agua faba is the water that garbanzo beans sit in. And that water, it's kind of like a little sort of I don't want to say viscous. I don't want to say slimy because that's going to put you off. It's not really slimy, but it's like a thick, kind of oily sort of water that the garbanzo bean sit in. Has enough proteins that it actually, when you shake it, it emulsifies just like egg white. That is not tasteless or odorless. It has its own flavor profile, but I have tasted it side by side in whiskey sours and clover clubs, which are gin sours that have like gin and dry vermouth, where anything that has like a nutty flavor or anything would be prevalent. I have not been able to taste the difference between that. And I think I have a pretty sensitive palate, but I have not been able to taste the difference between that and one made with egg whites. So that's a good alternative. It's not going to ruin those drinks. Even if you can taste the difference, it's really not going to ruin those drinks. It's like, although the flavors are going to work pretty well. So that's a good way to just get around it. Anyway, I hope I dispelled some of the myths. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. I will answer them and get to them as much as I can. Sometimes I get to them quickly. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but I'm here to answer your questions, and I hope I dispelled the myths of, I hope not that I dispelled the myths. I hope that I gave you all the information you need to know to make a good decision whether or not you want to drink egg whites in your cocktails. Cheers.